funnies and stuff.
Shit! Ma! Ma, come outside! There's a fucking moose! Or a buffalo or some shit! They're fighting! Where the fuck are you going? Ma! Holy shit! This is some fucking National Geographic shit! Ma, call a fucking cops or the ASPCA! There's animals fighting in the front lawn! Oh shit!
From Congress.
Well, we'll get through at least this year. We do need more money, but we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. We have to think ahead.
That was a guy. Guy dressed up like a Sheila. Look at that. There you on you.
How many will bring this party together who'll run a progressive, positive campaign and turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for? Because we cannot get reelect. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
Cleaning tips with Uncle Rob. Today I'm going to show you how to clean your cat's litter box. Take your spatula, throw it away. We're not going to need that. Then fill the litter box with gasoline. Then tie a string to a screwdriver, stab it in the ground, and run it through your litter box. Then attach your string to your carport. Then duct tape the bottle rocket to the string. Then light it up. Then get a dog, because cats are for bitches.
Well. Oh, I need to move over slightly. But well. Good afternoon. Good afternoons. No, we no longer do afternoons, do we, John?
Good
Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Well, I'm as well can be, considering my personal circumstances at the moment.
Indeed.
But, indeed, and we will talk more about that tomorrow. I might do a special. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how things go.
Troll room.
Julie,
What's the audio like?
Yeah,
Can you hear Ben okay?
I hope so. I hope they can hear me.
Yeah, well,
Julie C says
they screwed up a bit with Ed, because Ed was like really loud and they never told me. They said the audio was fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you know what they're like? They're really unreliable.
Well, it's not that they're really unreliable. They just get into it. Sophie says it's all good. Julie C says sudden mad rush. Didn't realise time. Evening, folks. Dreadeye and Julie C. Julie C on 2 accounts there says evening all. And Dreadeye is quite the asset on Fortnite sometimes, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, he
A
is.
man of few words, I might add. Just runs around in his Indiana Jones skin or gets in a car and starts driving over people. Really handy.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Vaughan says, look at John's head. It's like a big, beautiful suet pudding.
I know. It's a big ball. I need to lose weight again. Put weight on. Put weight on. Yep, I have. Right. So, I mean, where do you start? This is literally an episode of The New Statesman. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best place to start, isn't it? I shall read the headline for you there. From the Daily Express, of course. Naked Tory MP wakes up in brothel, unable to find clothes, and phones for help at 4 a.m. A Tory MP rang a senior Conservative politician at 4 a.m. after he found himself in a brothel, unable to find my clothes. Now, I think it's time to go to Speculation Town. What do you think, John?
I tell you, before you speculate, I can give you some other snippets of information, right?
Go on, him.
So it's a prominent Tory MP.
It's Mog.
No, I don't think so. And he is completely unable to account for how he got there. It's Gove. It's Gove. It's got to be Gove.
It's Cocaine Michael, isn't it?
Who else could it possibly be?
You could just imagine it now, couldn't you? He's called up Rishi, and he's hello there, Rishi. It's Michael. I seem to have found myself naked in a brothel. I don't quite know how I got here, and she might be dead. Can you get me?
Can you send the cleaners?
Send help.
Yeah, it's got to be good. It's got to be. And literally, that was a plot line from The New Statesman. I'm pretty sure it was. These guys are living it. They're doing a Hunter Biden. They are living the dream.
I tell you what, if it was more information.
You froze there.
No, well, I'm back. I'm all right.
What did you say if it was Mog?
He would go right up in my estimation.
Yeah, but I think that has all the hallmarks of a Gove. It really does.
So the whiff 12 says it's Boris 100%. Nah, I don't think it would be Boris. Nah. You know, because it's too obvious. Because that is definitely something Boris would do.
Yeah,
but I think it's too obvious.
Yeah, I think it's Gove. It's got to be Gove. In my book, it would have to be.
Imagine
but
if it was sad.
We'll probably never find out, to be fair.
He just wakes up. Sontaha! Oh no, I appear to be naked.
I'll tell you who it isn't. It's never Hancock. Surely, never. He's not.
How do we know?
Yeah, but he's not got the. He's not got.
No, that's not.
Oh, sorry.
How do we know it's a man? It just says Tory MP. It could be Doris. I mean, she does like the old sauce, doesn't she, old Nadine?
It could have been Liz.
It could have been. You know, if it were a woman, I would be leaning towards Nadine, because that woman is, in my opinion, sauced up more often than she's not. But
yeah, but no, I think it's definitely got all the hallmarks of a Gove about it. Anyway, so there we go. So, well, with that, I'd like to welcome you all to this episode 210 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and with Ben from this island hellhole that we call Great Britain.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Yes?
I was listening to that. I was
Yeah.
dancing.
You
I was
what?
having a good time.
I know it's too short, isn't it? What does the troll room think? Does it need to be a little bit longer? A little bit
Oh
longer?
my god. Spencer suggests it could be Michael Fabricant.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the guy does want to idolise. He does idolise Boris.
I've lost my wig.
I've woken up without my
And
clothes.
worse, the merkins disappeared as well. What say
I knew
you?
this-
What say you?
I knew this was gonna be a good start. Let's start though. Let's get into the news because this one it's a story that's been developing in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
A Russian military blogger, big Telegram channel, was having some kind of, I guess, event at a cafe.
Yeah.
He was handed a bust of himself, right?
Mhm.
And then that bust of himself, which I believe was made by this woman who was arrested, blew up and killed him.
Well, maybe not. Right. So, well, I think the bus did explode, right? But, so apparently the cafe used to be owned by, what's his name, Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Group.
Right.
Right. Anyway, yes, they were having an event, and she was stopped at the door, and they held the bust back because they suspected it might. They didn't know what it was, so they just held it back and wouldn't let it enter the premises. She
So
went
what you're
in.
saying is she may not have stuffed the bust.
She went in and did her bit, and then as she was leaving, but he was still carrying on with the event, she grabbed the bust and presented it to him. He then put it on the table beside him, and apparently it then went off after she'd left. So she's in custody, and there's a guy now in custody as well. So that one came from Aldo. That was the original, and then Aurelius Redux and Dagny Taggart. Dagny's been obviously digging into this quite a lot.
Yeah.
So she's got a little bit more on it. So her name is apparently Daria Trepova, although initially her name had come out as something nastier. But so we're getting told that her name is Daria Trepova now, and she's under arrest and being investigated for it. The body count's up to like 32 injured, 10 seriously.
and-
So it's quite bad.
Yeah. It is quite bad, and it would, no matter which way you swing it, it is a terrorist attack.
Oh yeah, it's terrorism.
Right.
Well, apparently young Daria here has been living off Ukraine media payments, and it was her intention to leave Russia and move to Ukraine once the fighting was over. Although maybe
shit.
once the fighting's over, it'll just be moved to
Russia.
Russia. Yeah, it could well be.
Who knows? Anyway, Spritzer says Prime Minister Sanna Marin admits defeat and loses the Finnish elections. This is I love the picture of her against the World Economic Forum backdrop there, because that's basically what this is saying here, isn't it? It's saying that the World Economic Forum is losing sway. It's losing sway, at least with the general public. And I would say mostly because of places like Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say Donald Trump won his election on Twitter, and in fact, they've just put the guy who made the memes that won his election in prison, right?
Yeah.
So I can see this. I can see this being the case. I mean, there's very anti-WEF sentiment on Twitter, rightfully so. I might add, rightfully so.
Europe seems to be swinging more conservative, right?
Populist, I would say.
Well, yeah, more centre than anything, really. And,
yeah.
And the UK seems to be going the other way. So, like,
well, no,
like everything, we always buck the trend.
The UK is not going the other way by design. The UK is going the other way because that's the only other choice, right?
Well, yeah, and I've been banging on about this all day. You know, it doesn't really matter which party you vote for, because if you're voting for a party in a system that's broken, so
I mean,
doesn't matter.
I think I want to just butt in a minute here. We're going to do a little segment. We're going to do a little segment called Ben Try Stuff later on. It's going to be the first episode of it, right? And I just want to say that the people voting are the people that are fighting over this shit. Right?
Yeah.
This is prime. This is prime, and this can be found pretty much nowhere. It can be found in some stores for £15 a bottle these days. Some people sell it for, and people pay it. And the reason people pay it is because the people that designed it are YouTubers, right? KSI and Logan Paul. I'm going to try this later, and there's no sugar in it. So.
I'd just like to point out, not only does Logan Paul now have a drink, he has a dwarf.
And a crypto scam, but we'll not go there.
Well, yeah, let's not. Well, careful now. Alleged crypto scam.
But I mean, like, I was in Asda. I was in Asda yesterday, and they announced it over the tannoy. We have Prime in stock. You can only buy it from the customer service, one per person. Right? I managed to get mine for free. Because but I was at the customer service anyway when they did this. You
get nothing for free, mate. Okay, you might have had a voucher. You might have had a voucher, but you've got nothing for free. Anyway.
So look, Beach Crate says Asda $1.99, $8.99 in my corner shop. Absolutely,
what?
And they do.
$8.99 for a. Why would you? I mean,
people
pay that for a bottle of wine.
These are our future fucking leaders, John. These are the people voting for these people.
They're not my leaders, mate. Not mine.
You'll be dead.
Mm-hmm.
But you should see.
That brings me some relief. Looking at the shit show that is the world these days, I can only look forward with anticipation.
So there were 3 teenagers with their mum next to me, right?
Yeah.
And they were just demanding of her, Mum, make them give us more than one each, right? And when they finally relented, and they did, they sold them 2 each, right? Just to stop the fucking problem. The other customer service woman turned around to me, because I know all my staff, and they know me by name in Asda, because that's pretty much the only place I shop these days, right? And I shop pretty much every day, I must say. But they turned around to me and they went, how rude were those kids just because they wanted to get their hands on this shit?
But kids these days they're so entitled. They are so entitled, aren't they? And nobody seems to. Are you allowed to say? Well, no. It's not even punish. It's nobody seems to chastise their children. They seem to get away with everything these days.
Absolutely, and then they turn into people like Sanna Marin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pole dancing,
and they think they're better than you.
Coke-fueled party girl.
Yeah, but they think they're better than you. They think that they know better than you because they've never been told no.
Well, of course they do, because they're young and stupid.
Anyway, let's move on from all of this. And I will try this later on stream. I will put myself through it just for your entertainment, right? I haven't tried it. It's still sealed, as you can maybe see. I've held on to it because I wanted us all to experience this together. And basically, I wanted to drink it so you don't have to.
Okay.
And this will be a recurring segment, I think. We're going to call it something like Ben Tries Stuff. And I'm going to try stuff that isn't very nice.
Ben Tries Stuff. So if you want to send Ben revolting food, please feel free.
Although if you send me the 1 chip challenge, I'm going to make my friend's 18-year-old daughter do it.
The one what?
I'm not doing it. You never heard of the 1 chip challenge?
No.
Oh my God, you've got to do some YouTubing after this show.
No, I don't think.
Then come back to me.
It doesn't sound good. Is this like Two Girls,
It's
One
not.
Cup?
No, basically Pucky, I think they're called. They make like a 1 million, 2 million Scoville chili chip. It's one chip.
A
And
chili
people
chip,
eat
is
it.
it? Right, okay.
Like a potato chip, like a Dorito.
Like a Dorito, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't fancy that. Right, okay, so here we go. So remember, we're getting a test, and we'll be coming on to that later. But so how about this for an alert? Says Sandra, ballistic missile threat inbound, Hawaii.
I remember this. This was ages ago.
It was ages ago, but I mean, it's quite topical because it's what we're going to be getting soon. So imagine this coming in. You're driving along or whatever, and you get ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. What would you do? How many babies were conceived as a result of this message?
I was going to say, you know, if I was on my own, say I was driving somewhere like that, I'd simply, you know, probably use the opportunity to streak through the streets, and then that would be that.
I thought you were going to say crack one off.
No, you got to make people laugh on your way out, haven't you?
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God, it's minuscule.
Hey, it's not that cold in Hawaii, is it? Anyway, right, so yeah, so we've got this to look forward to on the 23rd. I'm actually considering turning my alerts back on.
I've turned mine off.
I'm considering turning it back on.
Well, just for a laugh.
Yeah, just for shits and giggles.
Show it to your kids. Go, oh, fuck!
So another one from Sandra. Quite a few from Sandra and Aldo today. This chap, well, she's posted this part of a conversation, just in a very interesting chat with the Siemens guys installing the cameras on Wimbledon Broadway. I said they won't be up long, and he said no, it's a nightmare, especially in Cheam, where they have to keep replacing them. I laughed and said, I'm from Cheam, I'll let my mates know they're doing a good job. He said he didn't know what was going to happen if people kept removing them or damaging them, as they cannot keep replacing them. He was also supportive of the campaign.
Fantastic. If that is true, because obviously this is just some random,
of course,
Facebook. But if this is true, absolutely fantastic, right? Well, now, I'm not going to advocate criminal damage here, but I will also not denounce the removal of ULEZ cameras.
And there's been a lot of pictures of cut wires and bags over cameras and all this kind of thing. And while we're not,
I'll tell you what is going to happen.
We're not
condemning it. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen, and you made a good point the other week when you said that French speed cameras are now like fortified Russian tanks.
Yeah.
Right? And they are. That's all that will happen. They'll start fortifying them to no end. And then people will get creative.
Oh, yeah. Paintball guns. Paintball guns.
In fact, I actually have a family member on the wife's side who owns a paintball range, so I'm sure we could arrange. I mean, what? Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Right.
Let's move on anyway.
Yeah, moving on. From our good friend Latimer Alder, we have this. And it's quite good because Berlin, or Germany, is leading the charge now. They've knocked back the all cars must be electric, but are no petrol or diesel cars by 2030, whatever. They've knocked it back and said, no, we can't do it. After massive representation from their industry as well, they've said, no, we're not doing it. So I don't know what they're going to come up with next, but, they had a referendum and 82% of them said no.
Because nobody wants this shit. The only people that want net zero, the only people that want this shit are this small cult of activists who are very, very loud. That's all this is.
Greta's greeters. That's who wants it. That's it.
And they are a cult. And, I've been
yeah.
talking quite a lot about cults today, actually, on Twitter, because I've got, I think there are lots of people unwittingly and unknowingly in cults. And it doesn't just extend to people who are parts of groups like, Extinction Rebellion and stuff. It's people who lock themselves into a belief system that is, without evidence for the most part, and is just so militant. They're just so militant about it. And you can't even challenge one of their slightest beliefs. I've got into it with a few people today, as you know, John, and you told me to stop engaging, and you're probably right. But there are just so many people now who unwittingly and unknowingly are in cults. And do you know what? I'm going to make a statement. I think the Western world is more divided now than it has ever been because of this. And I think the advent of social media is almost directly to blame. And I know that makes us hypocrites because you're watching us right now on a social media platform. However, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is these creations of communities, these creations of belief systems that, everyone's gonna die, climate, everybody needs to be locked down, everybody's a Freemason.
I'm 100% with you, right? Because look at the amount of people that think absolutely everything's a conspiracy, right?
I've been told twice today to get another booster.
Why? But some people think absolutely everything's a conspiracy, and then other people think nothing is a conspiracy, right? I was listening to something last night which was quite different. It was a debate between flat earthers and globalists, right? When I say globalists, people that believe the earth is round, which is fine, right? And my God, talk about two entrenched positions that would not listen to either side's argument, right?
Of course not.
Because the flat earthers would put up something, or they would say, they give themselves, and these guys are all like PhDs and things like that, on both sides on some occasions. So anyway, the flat earthers will put something up, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, there's a massive flaw in this guy's argument, and nobody can fucking see it, right? And then the globalists will put something else up, and there'll be a massive flaw in their argument, and nobody can see it. They can't see their own flaws. And they can't, to be fair, they can't even see the flaws in the other arguments because they're just so entrenched in their own position. I don't think they're even listening to them. It's not really a debate. It's just a spouting forth of what their belief system is. And that's what it's come down to. It's cult behavior. It's a belief system.
And, I'm going to name her by name. My friend Lisa. Me and Lisa we do a lot together, as you know, right?
Yeah.
One of my closest friends I've ever had, raving lesbian, absolutely love her, right? But the point of the matter is that there's a lot we often disagree on and we argue on, and we can have really, really heated debates about things.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, we're off riding bloody Space Mountain together at Disney. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're having a good time together because we are developed enough mentally to be able to know that just because you have an opinion on something doesn't mean that you're a bad person. And often we'll come to a middle ground and we'll both concede ground on points and stuff like that because we will have a raving. Me and you fucking do it. And we do it more off stream than we do on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but we don't agree on everything. Do it. And I'm always right.
No. He thinks he is. He thinks age denotes wisdom. That's what he thinks.
Fuck off.
Oh, I've been on this earth 602 years. I'm a northern year.
So from Suzanne here. Yes, the lovely Suzanne, who will be joining us on Thursday to discuss the
Where
news.
is she anyway? She said she was coming to watch the show.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be around. Or she'll catch up later. Teresa's here, and I forgot to remind her, and she's here. Well done, Teresa. You're getting there. Your brain cells are still working.
Fuck's sake. Beach Crates is agreeing with you. And Julie C says it's called emotional maturity. No, it's just called common sense as far as I'm concerned, because it's not your beliefs or your politics that define you as a person. It's the actions that you take and whether or not you harm others.
Well,
That's what defines you as a person.
And this is the problem, because you don't get the full picture when you're speaking to people on social media. Because you're not really speaking to people. So you don't get the full picture. You don't get the nuances. You don't get the body language. You don't understand if things are a joke or not. You know, I mean, how many times have I said to you over the last 3 or 4 days, for fuck's sake, people are taking everything so literally, you know? You know, you give them an analogy and they take it as a literal thing. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, lighten up.
I was going to go into this rant. I was going to go into this rant this morning. On Rise, but I was not well.
No.
And I think I handled myself quite well in that show, actually, considering the circumstances. But Beach Crates, John is not always right. I am always right. Right? John's just along for the ride. But no, we ran out of time. But generally speaking, we've now degenerated into this cult-like culture, and it's really, really disturbing. It's really concerning, and I don't know if there's a way back. Anyway, what's our Suzanne said here?
Oh, right, okay. Well, Suzanne's saying that and it's quite this is quite appropriate, actually, because you know how we put sanctions on Russia, okay? And everybody towed the line, you know. Everybody that followed the Americans towed the line because, you know, big bad Russia and all that.
America
put in the $60 cap, so if the Russians charge more than $60, they're only getting $60. Well, not quite, because Japan is already buying it above $60 because it really needs it, and it's still cheaper to buy it from Russia than it is to buy it from America.
Of course.
Now, what I'd also like to point out that I didn't actually know about was the sanctions in Europe never applied to gas.
Well, of course they didn't. They got up until America blew it up, they had a fucking pipeline.
Yeah, I know. But the sanctions didn't apply to gas at all, right?
Well, it couldn't have, because then that pipeline would have come null and void.
Yeah, but in 2021, right, Europe bought 16 billion cubic meters of Russian gas.
Yeah.
In 2022, during sanctions, Europe bought 22 billion cubic meters of Russian gas. And remember, the pipeline was blown up in October.
Well done. Fantastic, Europe. Setting a great example there.
And I'd also like to point out that in 2022, Europe imported 186 billion of Russian products. $186 billion was paid to Vladimir Putin. So
let's move on anyway.
Those sanctions are biting hard.
So if we were living in a just world, right? If we were living in a just world, and you know me, I'm no supporter of Donald Trump, right?
No,
and people might, right? But if we're living in a just world, Alvin Bragg would be going to prison for what he's done. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this is from the outside looking in, this is election interference. You know, the thing that they tried to impeach Donald Trump for, but this is actually that.
Well, now you've got to start thinking it might not quite be as simple as that.
You still think he's behind it, don't you?
Well, that was my Friday night theory, and I did reiterate it this morning. But I had a bit of a dive into it this afternoon, and I found out that there's a thing called tolling that they do in New York, right? So you know how the statute of limitations is only 6 years?
Yes.
And all these offences occurred more than 6 years ago. Alleged offences, right?
That the FBI
we don't
said
actually know, or we don't actually know what's on the indictments, okay? But all these alleged cases occurred more than 6 years ago, so they would all be beyond the statute of limitations. But what they put forward is this thing called tolling, which means the statute of limitations is paused as soon as he's out the state. Now, he used to live in Trump Towers, but then he moved to Mar-a-Lago. So as soon as he goes to Florida, boom, the statute of limitations is put on hold. So then you got to count up the amount of time he's in New York. And then you can say, oh, well, we put it to the judge, and the judge either accepts or doesn't accept the tolling. And then you can say, yes, we go ahead. You know, we indict him. So I think that's what's happened. That's why he's been indicted, right?
Yeah, but he's been indicted on things that the federal government have investigated and already said aren't crimes. I'm pretty certain that is what this is going to boil down
right. So
to.
the problem is you don't actually know what he's been indicted for, right?
Right.
Because we don't know what the charges are yet, because it hasn't been out in front of the sheriff, the judge yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's on the indictment. So if he's been indicted for paying Stormy Daniels, then fine. If he's been indicted for using campaign funds to pay off business debts, that's different.
Yeah, but that's another thing that was also investigated.
Yeah. Right. And then there's another thing about the other woman who apparently there was another woman alleged something.
I don't know, but I think Jenna Ellis here is right.
The problem comes down to the fact that if the business is paid for anything, regardless of how it gets there in the end, and there is this massive money trail, right? If the business is paid for anything, then that could be a problem. The second thing is, in the state of New York, Donald Trump says he can keep his records any way he wants, but there is such a thing as incorrect record keeping or something, or keeping records with intent to falsify them, which then could be something that he's indicted for, and it's nothing to do with Stormy Daniels. So we don't actually know until we know what's on the indictment. But
yeah, but
whole
Teresa makes a good point here. It would indeed be a federal crime. It wouldn't be within the purview of Alvin Bragg, right?
Yeah, I know.
I don't think that this is going to stand. Whatever this is, I don't think it's going to stand. It is, in my opinion, and in Jenna Ellis's here, via Aldo's opinion, the only reason that DA Alvin Bragg is bringing charges is because Trump is running for the GOP 2024 presidential nomination. And I'm just using those two words because I think this is a true case of election interference.
I think you're right.
And
yeah.
Alvin Bragg needs charges brought against him.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind you. I'm just putting forward the other case, being devil's advocate, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump he's just not my cup of tea. He needs to. Some of his policies are great, but he just needs to shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah, he doesn't. See, Donald Trump doesn't help himself because after he's been arraigned, after he's been, I mean, he's not going to be handcuffed. He's not going to be put in with all the other criminals and all that. So once he's done all that and been in front of the sheriff and he's pled guilty or not guilty or whatever, he's going to go back to Mar-a-Lago and do a press conference. And that's the fucking...
Yes, of course he is.
You don't do this. You do not go and tell people and say things before you've been to court. Because it's just leaving yourself... I mean, you've been cautioned, so anything you say can and will be used against you. And it will be. Anything he says will be either turned around and twisted and used against him, or if he admits anything, it will definitely be used against him. So... there's no point in having a press conference because you want to keep your mouth shut. And that's why you are warned. So the thing you want to do is keep your mouth shut because you do not win a court case by popular opinion.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, before we do move on to another tweet from Sandra Whedon, there are 10 more viewers than there are likes. John.
Are we gonna have to bring the boys out?
Just scratching my back. Yeah.
Oh. Do you like my Swedish knife? It's a Mora.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. It looks really nice, yeah.
It's a Mora, so it doesn't have. It's got a single ground. Very sharp.
Lovely.
It's very sharp.
Lovely. Do you like my? Do you like this?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's-
Probably don't want
it's
to put
quite
that
good.
on YouTube, mate, though, you know.
It's a toy.
It looks good, though. It doesn't look like a toy. That's the kind of thing that could run you into serious trouble if you were out there on the street.
It's
Anyway,
a toy.
move it. Yeah, I know, but, you know, if you point at someone, I would shoot you if I was a cop.
Yeah, just
Yeah. Wouldn't you?
it does look pretty good. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks real. Right, here we go. From Sandra. So this is a fruit bat. I mean, you can see the little bugger, right? That's a fruit bat, and they're big. Fruit bats can get really, really big. Okay. So obviously, it tried to steal a handbag in Australia. The bat crashed into the Lee's family pre-wedding drinks at Hardy's Bistro on the north-south-west central coast on New South Wales Central Coast on Thursday night, with some of the incident captured on CCTV.
Do you think that the fruit bat thought the handbag was like its mate or something?
Look at the bat. It's like...
Have you seen them like fox-looking bats that are like 5 foot long?
Yeah, that's like one of these.
My God, they're terrifying, aren't
They're
they?
big fruit bats, yeah. Yeah, look at the size of the thing in the CCTV. You know, in the round though. I mean, that's a pretty big bat compared to that person's hand that's up against it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
well, I'm gonna move to the troll room for a minute there and give absolute credit to DW, who said had to log in and like, so you didn't send the boys.
Well done, DW. Good job,
Well
mate.
done
Good job.
indeed. You know your place.
Can I do a t-shirt with you two and send in the boys? Yeah, I think we probably could. Oh, we could do it like
Chasing-
the boys.
We could with
Yeah. Oh, that's something to work with. Adam, put your design skills.
Hold
your
on,
design
Adam.
skills to
Well, if John, if you hold your bat right now, we make Adam screenshot this, then he can put it on a shirt.
Yeah, but we want to do it stylized like his black and white stuff.
Yeah, but if he gets the picture, then he can. I'm
But
just saying.
my bat's not as big as yours. Got my little
That'll do.
leather strap. So you put it around you like that, and that means then you don't lose the bat when if it,
John likes a leather strap.
yeah, but it means it's the bat's like part of your arm. You can use it effectively. I broke one of
Adam
these
says
once.
got it,
I broke
and
one.
Spencer says, "Don't worry, John. It's not the size that counts."
I broke one once over someone's head.
Anyway, Yorkshire lady says President Joe Biden will not attend the coronation of King Charles III. We already knew this.
Yeah,
We've
I
known
know.
this for a while.
Yeah, I know, but I was running out of slides.
You know, the woman, right, so I was speaking to a woman me and Spencer were speaking to a woman in Asda today, because I was in Asda, and once again, he fucking popped up out of nowhere.
But he's
Right,
going to send
terrifying.
he's going to send Jill or even better. What's her name? Kamala.
Yeah, oh. Kamala would love that.
Imagine if he sends
Mate,
she's a well, I can't really say that word, can I? It starts with RE and ends with D.
just use your imagination, ladies and gentlemen. But she is not smart.
She's not the
She's
brightest.
not smart.
She is not the brightest.
She's not smart.
Why does Luke keep asking
Luke,
me this every time?
Yes, he's an ex-firearms officer.
Why does he ask this every time? If
He's
you
an
look back at my
ex-firearms
tweets,
officer who hates the police.
yeah, I posted. Did you see my last slideshow that I posted?
No.
Oh, did you not see my police career in cars?
Oh, I saw it, but I didn't click it.
Oh, you need to look through that. It's not as long as my personal life in cars, but it's certainly worth a look. There's some nice cars in there. Some fast ones. So, anyway, yes.
Yes, he is an ex-cop who... John, get the hat out.
Can I pack the hat? Hold on.
You've packed the hat.
Yeah, but I'm moving, remember?
Look, but John, if I need my hat, I just do this, look.
Yeah, but
Look,
I'm
I've got the hat
moving. You're not moving.
How do you know?
Yeah. Well, the hat's away.
It's packed away. He has a hat anyway. Anyway, I was saying we were in Asda earlier on, right? I was in Asda shopping, and Spencer just pops up out of nowhere, like he does, right? Just appears from round a corner.
For a big guy,
Scares
he's
the living
quite stealthy, isn't he?
He's very stealthy. Scares the living shit out of me every single time. And we were at where they would do the reduced food, right? Because they had fucking trolleys full. And I mean trolleys full. I got a massive pork loin for £2.25. And I got like trays of chicken thigh fillets for £1 a tray today. Lovely, lovely bunch of food for the freezer. Cost me fuck all.
Nice.
Got Spencer some lovely burgers for £1 as well. But we were talking to her, and she thought that Eminem was performing at the King's coronation.
Is he not? Who is performing?
Well, nobody. But
is he not doing some kind of reading from the Quran?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's all that about then? I mean, is he not the leader of the Catholic? Not the Catholic. Is he not the leader of the Church of England?
But listen, John, diversity is our strength, and I guarantee you, he uses that term.
Oh, I don't think it is. But anyway, regardless of that, so let's move on to Aldo again. Ministers come under pressure to scrap preposterous and dangerous LTNs as it emerges 240 ambulances were delayed by low traffic schemes. Now, it takes long enough to get an ambulance these days without them being further delayed by having to go around bollards and stuff. These low traffic schemes are dangerous.
Ministers can keep them or scrap them all they like, because if them fucking things turn up in my street, I'm moving them.
Yeah. Well, your street's a dead end, is it not? Near enough.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. But the point is, you need to be willing to do that in your street as well, right? If this crap turns up in your street and they put these, basically planters in the middle of the road to try and stop you driving, you know what to do.
But you know what was worse? Did you see the ones in Oxford where residents came out with their high vis on and actually stopped cars going through them themselves?
No, those people they're gone.
Yep.
They're gone.
So
let's move on, shall we? We're staying with Aldo once again.
Yeah,
all UK honey tested in EU fraud fails authenticity test.
Almost all UK honey tested was found to not be honey.
10 samples from Britain were suspected of they're honey, but they were suspected of containing cheap sugar syrup.
Yeah, that's not honey. It's been diluted.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not really honey, is it? It's just sugar.
I mean, if it's cheap sugar syrup, give it to me all day long. I don't like honey.
It's probably high fructose corn syrup.
Oh yes.
Oh God.
Deliver me that. Just buy the barrel, baby.
Right, this one's from last week, but it hasn't really lost any momentum.
Right. A Boris comeback is starting to look inevitable. Rishi was supposed to stop the rout. He can't. Now Tory MPs are starting to think only one man can. At the end of the day, they put Rishi there. Right? You reap what you fucking sow.
Yeah, but
you undemocratic twats.
But they all see, the problem now is they're all thinking, hold on a minute, it's that bad that I'm going to lose my seat. It's not that we're going to lose the election, it's the fact I'm going to lose my seat. And it's going to personally affect me as a Tory MP. And I don't really want that. So maybe we should think about bringing back Boris.
Well, I think that he's the only man who can. I don't think that he can gain another majority. I really don't.
I think it's too late. But if anybody could do it, it would be him. Because regardless of what you think of the guy, and I'm no fan of Boris, right? The public love him.
Well, Spencer says, Boris is not coming back until someone goes to the brothel with some cloves.
Is Spencer's never probably missed our earlier part then when we said that it wasn't Boris.
No, he was there.
It was Gove,
He was there.
was it? It was Gove, it wasn't Boris.
You reckon it was Gove, yeah?
Yeah, it was definitely Gove. Right, so,
You've been a dirty boy, Michael.
Back to Ukraine, and things change quickly in this world, don't they? So, this was this morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Bakhmut holds.
And then this afternoon, by the time we got to the afternoon, it was, boom. Bakhmut is now almost fallen because, I'll tell you what, I'll leave it there. What the Wagner group have done is put the Russian flag up on the administrative building in the centre of Bakhmut.
Of course they fucking have.
So, and Zelensky is now talking about he might need to reassess the situation.
By reassess the situation, do you mean go on one of his jollies and stay there?
Well, he went to Japan begging for equipment, money, and assistance.
Asylum.
I don't think he's asked for asylum yet. I think he'll just go to America.
I bet privately he's asked them all for asylum. I bet he's asked Rishi. I bet he's asked Biden.
He's going to America. He's got a house in America and Florida, and has he not? Probably just down the road for Donald.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah,
but the point, right. He's going to do a runner at some point, isn't he?
So it looked like Wagner were going to encircle Bakhmut, and then but they haven't. Once they found out, they captured some Ukrainians and they told them about the tunnels. There's a tunnel, apparently underground tunnel, that runs out to the left. So once they found out there was tunnels and they could get supplies in that way, there's no point in encircling it, right? Unless you know exactly where the tunnels are. So that's why they've just been doing this slow progression through it. But yeah. It looks like it's probably pretty much on the way out now, and I don't think Ukraine's got anything left, chaps. I think that's it.
Unfortunately, I think you could well be right, but you never know.
Still too
by this
wet.
time next week, we could all be in a war.
Yeah, it's still too wet, right? Nobody can move tanks around in any great numbers because you need to stick to the roads.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't take them across the fields, because Ukraine, as the breadbasket of Europe, has a very rich and fertile farmland. And that's probably why, Putin doesn't want them using depleted uranium shells on it, because all you need to do, as they said, is look up, Iraq, and the mess that's been left there by the use of depleted uranium.
Andrew Tate looks like a hobo.
Oh, well, did we finish with, what's his name?
I'm done with Zelensky.
Yeah, okay.
Done with Zelensky.
Yeah, well, Andrew Tate does look a bit like a hobo. Now, I've got to apologise slightly, because this picture is compressed for height to fit in for the slides. So he's not quite as fat as that. But he has put on a few pounds, I would say, because he's obviously not been getting his regular exercise regime. Yeah?
Yeah, he's put on quite a few pounds.
Yeah. And the beard, I don't know. I think he suits a beard. I think it's all right. But
he's a Muslim now, so maybe that's a thing he's doing.
Why is he a Muslim?
Yeah, he's a Muslim.
Why?
He's been a Muslim for like 6 months.
That ties in well with his outlook for women, doesn't it? Because that's kind of Muslim attitude. But anyway, what's all this cryptocurrency stuff? What's he doing now? Is he's starting his own crypto? I mean, he was doing that anyway, wasn't he?
Well, that's not his Twitter account.
Yes, I know that. Right? But he does appear to be starting his own crypto.
So he's basically doing another Logan Paul and crypto scamming people.
Possibly.
So he's under house arrest and he's starting a fucking Ponzi scheme. I mean, the brass balls on him. You guy, he might be a fucking asshole, but the brass balls on this son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Right, so Germany's
Credit where credit's due, Andrew. Credit where credit's due.
Yeah, Germany's
I think they're going to slip the country. You know, I think they're going to slip.
I think they might. Yeah, I think
to Dubai.
I think Germany has. Well, there's no extradition treaties from Dubai.
Well, yeah, and they've got a nice big house there.
Yeah, exactly. Open borders. Germany halts Afghan refugee admissions amid claims the migrants are abusing the system. No shit.
Gee, you think? Gee.
Germany
How many of those so-called Afghan refugees are actually like Bulgarian? How many of them so-called Afghan refugees are not Afghanis? Probably a fair few. Yeah, there'll be Albanians.
That's like someone tweeted something about our immigration problem at the moment as a result of empire, and I'm like, hold on a minute, when the fuck did we conquer and rule Albania? I don't remember that being in the British Empire. I may be wrong, but what the fuck?
Sean Finch of Delivering Liberty says Tate will always be a con artist. It's his factory setting in life.
Yeah, I think so.
Whether or not he is, right? Crypto is kind of a Ponzi scheme, and I've just got to tell you, the brass fucking balls on that man. You've got to hand it to someone under house arrest.
Yeah,
to do that.
I mean, he's another Hunter Biden, isn't he? He's living his best life.
Oh yeah. Living his best life.
I mean, talking about crypto, nobody has still explained to me how it's going to save us from anything, because I know technically how it works. I know that the Bitcoin has been set and can't be altered, and I know there's only so much of it you can get, therefore the value is intrinsic, right? But how's it going to save us from anything? That's what I don't understand.
In order to spend it, except for a very, very small amount of places, you've got to change it back to fiat. So how is it going to save us?
So, I mean, please explain to me. I just don't know. And
with all of these tokens that pop up,
if the internet is down or controlled by the state, and they don't allow, VPNs and other forms of central of digital currency, how is it going to save you from anything?
I'm going to make a prediction, right? And hopefully I'm wrong. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who are big fans of Andrew Tate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If this is real, if this is true, and he is going to launch his own cryptocurrency, a lot of people are going to invest in it. Right?
Oh yeah, they will.
What I'm worrying is this is what's called a pump and dump. And this happens over and over and over again with brand new tokens. The value of them are artificially inflated within the first few hours of trading. People who hold lots and lots of those tokens, like Tate, will have a lot. Tristan will have a lot. They might not have them in their own name, but they'll have them through subsidiaries. They'll dump a massive amount of them, completely devalue the crypto. It will crash. Everyone that bought in will lose everything.
Yeah. Except for them.
Well, Sam in Belize says, why don't you get somebody on to explain Bitcoin to you? The key is understanding money first. But I think, Sam, you might agree or disagree with me about my basic concept of a pump and dump there. And I think it happens over and over again with these small tokens, with these new tokens, with people that just want to make a quick
Maybe
buck.
Sam's talking about me saying I don't understand how it's going to save us from it. I understand how Bitcoin works, right? And I understand that it's an untraceable currency, but it's still reliant on technology. So I don't understand what it's going to save us from, because if the technology is not available to it, i.e. if the technology is controlled and restricted, like, say, China.
The internet.
Right? Yeah. How is it going to save you from anything? Because you won't be able to use it. You won't be able to convert it. So how's it going to work?
No,
that's the part I don't get.
I mean, the only way it could become more viable, whilst obviously still relying on technology, is if vendors actually start letting you pay in it. I mean, our Dino was very, very smart right back in the beginnings of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he let people pay for stays in his hotel directly.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that might be contributing to how the man has so much bloody money. I will say that.
Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, you know what the governments are doing just now? They're going to take control of digital currency, right? So
But they're starting their own.
And Bitcoin's going to get wiped out.
And then they'll regulate the rest.
Yeah. It's either going to be over-regulated or it's going to be wiped out and you won't be able to use it.
And that is a problem. That is a massive, massive problem. But once again, you know, what people have to understand is the only real freedom when it comes to financial transactions is cash.
Yeah.
Or just straight up bartering, because it's the only way you can guarantee that the government can't look at what you are doing without physically sending somebody to watch you. And they can't push a button and suddenly your cash has disappeared from your hat.
Yeah.
Whereas with these central bank digital currencies, which is what they're trying to do, what they're trying to promote, at any point they could say, you don't like what we're saying, you're a dissident, you're a bad guy, restrict your wallet, you can't access it. Or they'll tell you, you've had a few too many calories this week, you can only spend your Bitcoin on this, that, and the other. Right?
Yeah. Moving on.
Of course they can push a button and debase your money, but it's still the most surefire way is with cash or bartering. And as Andrew Lomax said, barter wouldn't work in Britain. Too keen to rip each other off. Remember the bog rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So 6 Muslims up in court in Austria for illegally slaughtering 213 sheep without stunning them first. So that just means that was halal slaughter.
Yes,
and that's illegal in Austria.
Not just halal, but kosher as well. Right?
Oh, yeah, kosher's the same, right? So that's illegal in Austria. So that's why these people are up in court. And people are quite genuinely asking, should that become illegal? Well, I think they were going to make it illegal in the Netherlands as well. And
maybe
people
France.
are asking, should they make it illegal? Or Belgium was certainly talking about it. And should they make it illegal in the UK? Because, you know, it's pretty horrific. They hang the animals up by their feet, slit their throats, or just put them in a big pile, slit their throats, let them bleed out.
Let's not go into detail on this platform because they will have a go at you for that.
But no, that's how it's done. So that's just a description of facts.
Yeah, they don't like facts on this platform, John.
Oh, okay.
And for those listening on Rumble right now, we're not talking about you. But it really, obviously, it is completely inhumane, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about when we go hunting with a crossbow?
Mm-hmm.
Is that any different?
Well, yeah. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get a quick, clean kill.
But if you don't, and then that animal suffers greatly.
Yeah. But if you are hunting, right, with the intention of killing and eating the animal, you're doing that for a need, right? You're not going out to torture an animal because of your religious beliefs. You're going out to feed yourself, right? And I think there's a massive difference between that and, as you would say, you know, the wishes of your sky fairy.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's abhorrent. I think this method of slaughter is abhorrent. And you're talking to somebody who's on a carnivore diet.
I think it's different if you're hunting foxes with dogs. That's a completely different ball game.
I honestly think the only time I would ever hunt would be for food.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'd probably prefer to use a rifle.
Yeah, well, if it comes to it and we can't afford meat and it's the only way, you know, you use the tools available to you, and obviously you would try to make it as painless and pain-free and quick for the animal as possible. But like I say, I would only ever hunt for food. But and this is kind of the same deal. But I think if it's absolutely needless, and I think it is needless because I don't believe in religion, and I know that a lot of people that do watch and follow me on Twitter even are Christians, and that's absolutely fine. You can believe what you want. But like John says, if you're going to just make animals suffer greatly for the wishes of your sky fairy, I'm really not on board. You know, I do enjoy I do enjoy consuming animals. I will say, like I said, I'm pretty much on a carnivore diet, have been for 20 years. But yeah, I'm a vegan's worst nightmare. In fact, going back to my friend Lisa, veggie.
She's
a veggie.
Yeah, yeah. Going back to Andrew. Andrew says the butchery is likely to be driven underground. The butchery is already underground, Andrew.
But that's why this has happened.
Yeah, that it's underground in Austria, but it's also underground in this country because this happens in unlicensed abattoirs all over this country. You know.
Well, yeah, and do you know what?
Among certain sects.
I've seen more and more, even in my own town, and we're a small seaside town on the south coast where people come to retire and die.
Mm-hmm.
Allow butchers have popped up.
Yeah, and I mean, did you not see there was a raid somewhere in the Midlands, and it was basically a garage, and they were doing halal slaughter in it. There was nothing sanitary about it whatsoever. But hey, moving on. Speaking of bloodbaths, so more than 1,000 UK pubs shut last year, not to be replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think there was something like 10,000 shut in 2020, and only 4,000 opened. Now, what I don't understand, right? But what I don't understand is 10,000 pubs closed their doors permanently in 2020, and 4,000 new pubs opened. Who opened a pub in 2020?
It wasn't 10,000 pubs that closed. It was 10,000 businesses within the industry, small restaurants, small bars.
No,
cafes,
it wasn't. It was 10,000 pubs that shut their doors permanently in 2020.
I'm not sure it was.
I think it was.
But what's happened here is the so-called cost of living crisis directly caused by the lockdowns. Let's not be coy about this, right? Mm-hmm. The cost of living crisis has not been caused by Brexit. It has not been caused by it's not been caused by the war in Ukraine. It's been caused by the massive and deliberate crashing of the UK economy. And the UK government knew this would be the consequence of what they did. When they spend £38 billion on a test and trace system, when they spend untold billions of pounds on a furlough system, what do you think is going to happen? Because that money's not going back into the system, right? The government... It basically quantitatively eased and created money, devalued the currency in order to pay for that. So basically, you were getting paid maybe, allegedly, you were getting paid your wage, but value-wise, you were probably getting 3/4 of your wage. And this is what's happened. These pubs, these restaurants, the price of electricity, the price of gas has gone sky high. You know that as a small business owner, John.
Yeah,
right? You got to move. You've got to move.
Oh no, hold on. There's something I need to address here. That's wrong, Harold. They are killing them for their religion, right? Yes, they are going to eat them, but they are killing them because their religion prescribes the way they must die, right? Mm-hmm. It's a religious practice. It's nothing to do with the actual eating business. It's purely a religious practice. We kill animals and eat them as well, yet we do not put them through that amount of pain and suffering. So I disagree with what you've said. It's completely wrong. It is a religious thing. And there's two religions that do this. And I think you know which ones they are.
There are two religions, halal or kosher slaughter, right? I've never quite understood the concept of kosher salt, but then again, maybe I'm not supposed to.
You either dig it out of the ground or you evaporate salt water to get salt. So how
kosher salt exists?
Yeah, maybe it's been blessed by a rabbi or something.
I have no idea, but yeah, this is going to continue to happen as the cost of living continues to rise. I mean, things are more than twice the price in the supermarkets. It's getting absolutely goddamn ridiculous.
And let's be fair about this. The energy crisis is manufactured by the government. That's got nothing to do with the war, and it's got nothing to do with the lockdown. It's completely manufactured crisis by the government that has allowed this to occur. It is nothing but profiteering. And now they're talking, I mean, windfall tax. Windfall tax doesn't help people. It doesn't stop businesses making massive profits. You know, all it does is put some extra money in the government's coffers, which is supposed to be your coffers. But let's face it, it's not really, right? So how does that help people? It doesn't, right? They're now dropping the windfall tax and giving people licenses to do more drilling for gas and oil in British waters, right? So
indeed.
How does that help us? Because the prices aren't coming down. Because let's face it, the wholesale prices are now back at where they were before the prices went up, if not lower, and yet the prices have not come down.
They haven't. Let's move on. I'm just going to quickly apologise. I'm going to fly through a few of these at the minute because I'm having some spine issues right now, but I will keep going.
Right. So,
Yep,
go on.
So from Robin Redmile Gordon here. Well, I never. Lithium shortages threaten Europe's electric car transition. Well, I never.
Well, you know why?
Well,
you know why? Because it's not that they don't want you driving a petrol or diesel car. It's that they don't want you driving a car. They don't want you moving around.
They want you in your box.
Yeah.
They want you in your place. Do as you're told. Stay where you are. You're a good little worker. You're a good little drone. Do you want to be a drone? Or do you want to be some semblance of a free person? Because I don't think there is such a thing as true freedom. I really don't. But there's some semblance of it. And we've lived some semblance of it. We were certainly more free 10 years ago than we are now.
Yeah.
And people will go, well, what's the difference? Well, laws encroach and little tweaks to laws and extra surveillance. I mean, we're one of the most watched countries on earth, bar China.
Yeah,
you can't basically go anywhere in any town without being on some kind of camera, and people will turn around, they'll give you that argument. Oh, well, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear.
Yeah.
No, that's bollocks.
That is bollocks.
That's absolute bollocks, right? That's the people who want to justify keeping you in your box. Let's move on. Anyway, from Matt. Now, can you do this one?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about this morning. Masson Nielsen says China and Brazil have reached a deal to trade in their own currencies, ditching US dollar as an intermediary. Yeah, absolutely, and good luck to them, because that's what they should be doing. Why should America be there as a middleman? Because this is the problem. You have to have American dollars to trade in the world, so you've got to trade with America to get American dollars. Take them out of the equation.
So we were talking about this morning.
Take them out of the equation, suddenly you don't need to trade with America. And America starts to lose its position in the world as an economic power, and then starts to swing its military about, which is exactly what it's doing just now, because it's going into the Pacific, into Asia, to destabilize the fucking place, because Asia's been stable for way too long, and they've started making deals and working with each other without having to pay the Americans. So it's time to get in there and install some freedom.
My name's Joseph R. Biden, and I'm about to bring y'all some freedom.
So all those people...
Corn Pop? Where's Corn Pop?
Yeah, all those poor people that are stuck in queues in Dover. So apparently we're going to get an Easter scorcher, and we'll bake Britain for 4 days of hot sun. So there you go. This is from GB News. That's what they're down to, giving us weather forecast now. The great, proud, independent GB News that was going to change the face of reporting in the UK is now giving us fucking weather forecasts.
Well, I would expect a weather forecast
on
the news channel.
That's about the most accurate articles these days.
I doubt it's accurate.
I doubt it's accurate too, mate.
I doubt it's accurate. I really do.
So it appears that they have indeed taken the it appears they have taken the service out of the National Health.
Yeah.
Because it's not a service anymore, is it?
No. No. Patients now face 7-year wait for NHS ops, and that's in your neck of the woods, John, who claim to have a better NHS in England. Humza was warned of looming crisis. Experts predict worst case scenario. However, I have to push back. I have to play devil's advocate here, because this is the same group of arseholes who tell you every year that the NHS is at breaking point. Right? This is just the same, right? We can't believe these headlines. Because if we do believe these headlines, then we have to turn around and say, well, maybe we should believe the old NHS at breaking point. This is more crying wolf. That's what this is.
Yeah, it probably
It's crying
is.
wolf.
Yeah. It's fear-mongering. It's another...
Well, as somebody who is less than a year into his 2-year plus wait to get back to the autism clinic, I understand that the NHS is fucked. Yeah? But at the same time, I don't think you're going to be on a 7-year waiting list for an operation. I think this is them scaremongering, fear-mongering again, and basically the media need to shut the fuck up. Because if you look at the wording, it says Humza was warned of looming crisis. Experts predict worst-case scenario.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you remember what happened because of predictions of worst-case scenarios that never came true. Hello, tier system. Hello, lockdown 2. Hello, lockdown 3. Hello, wear your masks through the winter only. You know, just for those 4 weeks. These things happened because of things like that.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Craig Campbell has returned to the fold.
Hello, Craigie, my old friend. It's nice to see you here again.
Right, this was a cracker, wasn't it? So the new Prime Minister of New Zealand was asked how the government defines a woman. And he was stumped.
And he turned around and he said, you've really got me out of left field here with that question. I don't know really how to answer that. I have not pre-formulated an answer for that question. Well,
because he wasn't informed that this question would be coming up.
I mean, the follow-up question was an absolute nail in the coffin, though. It's like, you said that Posey Parker's views are abhorrent. Which ones of Posey Parker's views do you find abhorrent? And he's like, once again, this is out of left field. I don't like that Posey Parker says trans people shouldn't exist. Posey Parker doesn't say that.
No.
Posey Parker doesn't say that. Right? The fucking Posey Parker or Kelly Jane Keane, she's a radical feminist. She's an absolute radical feminist. But all she's asking for is for them not to be in women's spaces, for trans people to have perhaps their own space. And do you know what? I believe that we should be allowed to have spaces based upon biological sex. Now, I'm not saying that invalidates what a trans person is going through. But what I am saying is, if biological women want to have a space where it's just them together, absolutely they should be able to. If biological men want to have a space, remember the working men's clubs or the men's club, gentlemen's clubs. You know, the radical feminists want them gone, but they want their own spaces. So that's a bit of a...
Look at women's only gyms.
Hypocrisy. Well, yeah, well, can you really say it is a women's only gym if you work in it?
I don't work in it.
Except for when you're doing meat.
I don't work in it. I have no real connection to the gym whatsoever. I run
fair enough.
This YouTube outfit with you. That's my
fair enough
stuff. The gym is owned and run by my wife.
But at what point does the Scottish government turn around to you and say what you're doing is discriminatory?
They can't. They can't, because it's written into the law as it stands just now.
For now.
Yeah. But if they change that, then, fuck them. And speaking of fucking them, right? JD Updater here says, calls for elderly motorists to be banned from driving at age 70. Right? If someone banned you from driving at age 70, Ben, would you take any cognizance of it?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the age should be 60 because you've already got Alzheimer's.
No, but seriously, if somebody turned around to you and said, "No, you can't drive anymore," what would you do? You've been driving all your life, right? And suddenly at 70 you can't drive anymore. What would you do? Would you stop driving? I wouldn't.
No.
You know, take my license off me if you want.
I'll be completely honest with you.
It just means I'd be driving without a license. I wouldn't stop.
Do you know what I would? Do you know what I would support? I'll tell you what I would support. I would support at least not retesting, but certainly seeing if people are still capable of driving a car.
You have to renew your license. You have to get your eyes tested, I think, once you're 75 or something like that.
Well, but the thing is, I would support a more.
Why?
I don't want to say invasive, but because there are people who get forgetful and lose focus and lose the ability to concentrate, and then they would become a danger to operating a vehicle, right? So
there are people like that who are 20.
Oh, absolutely. But let's look at Occam's razor, and let's look at the balance of probabilities. And the balance of probabilities in Occam's razor would tell us that at that age you're more likely to be in that situation than you are at 20.
But the balance of probabilities and the actual statistics tell us that you are more likely to have a serious accident and kill someone when you're less than 25 years old.
Yeah, because that's because you've just got a car and you think you're Billy Big Bollocks and you drive like a twat.
Yeah, I know. But you know, more people are killed by 25 or under 25-year-olds than are by over 85-year-olds.
Yeah, and why do you think like the insurance cost for somebody under the age of 25 is sky high?
Yeah, well, yeah. But if you're going to let people under 25 drive, then you've got to let people over 75 drive.
Julie says, I simply don't drive. It's safer for all.
But well, especially at night, if you're a woman.
Well, I learned to drive at night. Never had a lesson at all.
You're not a woman.
Lesson, passed both tests. Well, do you know what? I've had people call me that.
What? Because of your lovely and lustrous hair.
Just because I've got a sensational mane, right? This takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of work. It is what it is.
Says you'll get a donkey. You know, more people are killed by donkey kicks every year than flying accidents, Andrew.
and Craig Campbell says, yeah, keep driving anyway. And that's exactly what I would do.
Why wouldn't you? That's what I would do.
Let's go to a former guest on the show, Yuri Bezmenov's ghost. And we've seen his actual face, haven't we, John?
Oh, we have. And we know his name.
We know his name. We've seen his face.
Yeah, but we're not going to out him.
You haven't. Yeah.
He says the EU is committing industrial suicide, and it appears they are, because Ursula von der Leyen has said that there will be limits for nuclear power under the Bloc's Net Zero Industry Act. Why? Nuclear fucking power? Why? Why do you want to limit that? I don't understand. Why would you want to limit nuclear power?
Because...
Is it too efficient? Yes, it
works.
Probably is, because nuclear power is 96% efficient, right?
That's why, because it works, and it would be cheap.
Yeah, solar panels are 33% efficient. In 1896, solar panels were 20% efficient. So we haven't really we haven't come very far with solar panels, have we?
Doing an absolutely wonderful job there, solar industry. You know, that's why I don't have solar panels.
They're handy on a van, that's all I can say. And even then, sometimes they don't even give you enough power to last the night. Or a 2-hour podcast.
He's absolutely right. I was in, he had to go and start the generator.
That's
when
right.
I was with him. And it took him fucking ages as well. He had to go and start the damn generator.
Because I forgot to flick the fucking switch, didn't I? But anyway.
but that wasn't us, because that wasn't us because we weren't actually allowed to be where we were. So that wasn't us. It was Barry and Susan.
Yeah, that was Barry and Susan. Barry and Susan.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was
it
their
wasn't
big
us.
day out. Right, the
it was a damn good day out as well.
Ed and Becky showed this, and this is the only time I saw this picture, which I thought was pretty damn good. They put an effigy of Macron across the railway line and stopped the trains. So,
oh god!
And this was
Please,
a video.
right.
There's a video zooms out. You see a big TGV sitting there. With this in
Whilst
front of
I
it.
find this absolutely brilliant and hilarious, I just want to implore French protesters: I'm coming over on the train in a few weeks' time. Please don't do this. Then I want to catch my connecting trains because I'm with you for 4 days. Right during those 4 days, if you want to start rioting in Paris, I'm going to come. I'm going to join you. This is the first time I'm announcing this on this show. And if they do it, John will have the stream exclusive. I'm going back to my old ways for 1 day only. And I will be on the streets of Paris streaming those things live.
And this morning, while we were on Rise with Sonia Poulton and Sean Ward, I did say that NATO's starting to look like it's getting ready to break up, and here we have Germany saying American soldiers must leave Germany. So here's a young lady who is part of the German Parliament asking that really it's time for them to move out, and this might have been provoked by Putin saying Germany's basically still occupied by America, isn't it? And the UK and all that, and it is. So maybe it's time Germany did think about standing on their own 2 feet. And you know what? America, you did yourselves no favours by blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and 2, especially with the Germans. Because you fucked them well and truly up the ass with no lube.
Let's give them some funnies on the way out, shall we?
Yes, let's do that. Right.
Oh, before we do that, I think it's time for a new segment. I think it's time.
Okay.
I think it's time for Prime.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before I do open this and try this live on stream, this is the orange and mango flavor Prime. A little bit of a backstory to this thing. We are kind of talking about it earlier, but people are going fucking mental over it.
Yeah.
They fight. They fight in shops to get it, and corner shops are charging like £8-9 a bottle.
Something, right?
I got this for free in Asda yesterday.
Right, come on, just get fucking on with it. Crack it open, taste it, and tell us if it's good or bad.
Craig Campbell says Prime is class. I hate to say it.
Right, okay, let's go. Come on, go for it. Go for it. Chug, 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 chug. Aroma? How was the aroma? How was the bouquet? Oh, he's not liking the taste. Oh, he's looking for his spittoon. What?
I'm not liking the aftertaste.
What was the aroma like?
Smells like mango.
Right,
more like
okay.
mango than orange, right?
The taste?
Yes, Vaughan. Oh God, you can really taste them artificial sweeteners.
Oh, right. Don't drink anymore, mate.
That is
get straight back to your Red Bull.
See,
get some real sugar in you.
That is right. And look, I can understand first of all why people would like this.
Wassa.
I can understand why people would like this because let's face it, the vast majority of drinks on our shelves now are full of artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, they are.
There are only 3 or 4 drinks actually available in mainstream shops that have just sugar as their sweetener. One of them being Red Bull, one of them being Coca-Cola, and the other one being Pepsi. Right, the vast majority.
I even think.
Wow, it's coming back.
Oh God! I even think Iron Brew Original has got some artificial sweetener in it as well. Right, I tell you what, I'd like to do. I'd like to show them a little video, which I found incredibly joyful. Right, and this it's just a short video. Okay, this is a train spotter, and I'm not mocking him. I just found this so joyful and so innocent that someone could take so much pleasure from such an activity.
I got out of bed at 4:30 this morning as I heard that there was a really rare train coming through Shawford Station. It's a Class 56 and it's due through here in a moment. Yeah, it's thrashing. Oh, it gave me a shock. And the 50. It's still doing tones. I've got to catch up with them if they're going to be that tone happy.
And that's exactly what I did. I raced them all the way to Leamington Spa, and my God, was it worth it.
Yeah! Hellfire!
Wasn't that good?
But like I said, obviously he's autistic, right? I can say that very clearly. We can smell our own, right? But absolutely.
But wasn't he having fun? Was he not? Now, 4:30 in the morning to go and watch a train. My question is, how did he know? How did he know it would be there?
That's me riding Space Mountain at 2 a.m. Right? That is me riding Space Mountain at 2 a.m. Just going, I've ridden this 500 times, but come on, baby! Right? There are things in life that just bring you little, and it's different for everybody.
Speaking about things in life, what about this from Paul Alien 9 or Philip 478, whatever? So who does Iceland's advertising? Took me 3 times to read that hashtag. Deep anal bun party. When it should be deep pan album party. Nice one, Iceland. And
but the owner of Iceland is a bit of a lad, isn't he?
Yeah. So now we've got Giggle Pops and the best review award goes to Domino's. And Nick says delivery time stated between 45 to 60 minutes, but was delivered within 25 minutes. This was a bit of an inconvenience as I was balls deep in the wife at the time. You wish.
You've got to respect the game, man. You've got to respect the game.
Yeah. That's what I do not know
I will tell you a couple of stories off stream.
Okay, here we go. Way. Then Giggle Pops brings us this one. And oops indeed, after a wild LA party.
A whole new level of sucking the chrome off a trailer hitch. Looks like he had a good grip on. Woman rushed to the hospital. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's a big one.
I was out in the field, casually strolling around.
And slipped
when I slipped and I fell.
Right, here we go. What about this one? Again from Giggle Pops, but Josh Olson says, I've been obsessed with random unnecessary quotation marks since I was a kid. This is easily the most terrifying example, and I'm thinking with him on this. Timmy takes a road trip with Officer Sandusky. So why would you put quotation marks around Officer? And why would you give Officer Sandusky such a look? It reminds me of the film Airplane. Remember when Timmy comes up to the cockpit? Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
I mean, that is... He's looking at Timmy. He's quite happy.
That's creepy. Yeah, it's creepy.
Hey, nerds. No, I'm not. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Dr. David Cartland says trans woman. Well, he's quoting the New York Post. He says trans woman left sobbing in JFK airport after TSA agent hit her testicles.
There's just so much wrong with that, isn't there? She got a smack in the testes. Oh yeah, there you go. That's what happens. It's not all fun and games being a trans. Right, and we're back with Giggle Pops.
Look, the poor trans woman got hit in her girl balls. All right.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we're back with Giggle Pops, and this is a good one. This is how the French anatomy book tries to show you the similarity between humans and horses when it comes to bones.
Right off. Fuck right off. That can't be real. Come on.
It's a photograph of a book. Look, that's not even fake. That's a photograph of a book.
On.
That's tremendous.
Julie C says we need to investigate the book. I think you're absolutely right. Somebody find me that goddamn book.
Le Chevaux. That's a cracker, isn't it?
I mean, was that a diagram drawn, from visual experience in Tijuana?
Possibly. Speaking of being bad experience, it looks like Zelensky got his F-16.
That's obviously a Photoshop, but...
Oh, no shit! No shit! You think? It's a fucking good laugh, though, isn't it? Yes, the Ukrainian Air Force is in good shape.
So, in summary, ladies and gentlemen, going back to my taste test of Prime, stop fucking fighting over this shit, you morons! One of the people, you're fighting over it because two people on YouTube, and yes, we are two people on YouTube, but two people on YouTube sell it. One of them is scamming you with crypto, and the other one is taking a break from social media right now for using a racial slur, despite the fact he's black.
And he's an arsehole, because all he does is copyright strike other YouTubers, like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a massive threat to him, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I never bought Prime either, Harold. I never bought Prime either. The voucher bought Prime. The voucher did it. Wasn't me. I simply have it in my possession.
With that, I'd like to say it's been lovely. It's been lovely to see you all here tonight. It's been good to see some old people come back, some old friends back.
Make sure you've left a like.
Yeah.
And before you do go, couple of little bits of housekeeping. If you enjoy what we do, then please consider becoming a subscriber on either Patreon or Ko-fi at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. But if you can't afford to do that, that's absolutely, we understand. But there is one thing we would ask you to do that is completely free. There's a third link in that thing in the chat right now that goes to our Rumble channel. Our Rumble channel, we are simultaneously streaming over there as we speak. And it's our backup. So if you are able to go over there and subscribe over there as well, if for some reason you don't find us streaming on here and we haven't said we're not streaming, we are live on Rumble. So please, just as a backup, make sure you go over to the Rumble channel and subscribe. But if you are able to subscribe to the other things, then please do.
Oh, and if you haven't got your vote in, I'll give you 10 minutes to vote for the next Down the Rabbit Hole. And that's it.
Go to our community. Go to the community post on our page. You can only vote if you are a subscriber.
Yeah.
John, say
And
goodbye
with
to the
that,
lovely people.
I would like to say goodbye to you, lovely people, because you have been great. It's been a pleasure. For you.
For you.
Good night.
You can see the riding on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized.
demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.